Okay, so by popular demand, I'm doing a quick build guide here on the current no shout, no barber, no problems Rend build I've been using for this barbarian that I'm leveling up now. I'm going to quickly do a dungeon run, kind of showcasing the build and talking a little bit about the rotation and how it plays. And then we'll go over the build afterwards. And of course, as always, there'll be a build planner in the description below as well. I've gone the wrong way. So that you guys can check out the full written version of this guide. Well, let's go get some enemy packs here real quick, and then we'll talk a little bit about the rotation. But it's pretty straightforward. You'll see here it's not... Well, that was pretty laggy. Just standard Diablo things, eh? So let's find a pack of enemies, please. Anywhere? No enemies in the dungeon? Here we go. So it's grab, stun, and then Rupture. Now, unfortunately, there is an enemy champion in the back there, which has kind of stopped our DPS from going through. But we can go ahead and just kill him and then finish the group up like that with Rend. And another Rupture. But, yeah, we're grabbing them in, stunning them for safety. And then we use Rupture on the bigger packs to get them all dead. Nice and easy. These enemies are a few levels above me, 7 levels above me, so this isn't like the easiest nightmare dungeon in the world. It's not exactly hard either. But grab them in. Rupture. You'll see some huge damage from Rupture there. And that's because Rupture does more damage the more enemies that it hits. We've got a lot of synergistic stuff going on here. I just need to keep an eye on my HP while I'm doing this. Like, give us really, really high amounts of attack speed. Allow us to rend things down super quick. And this build centers around a crap ton of CC. So we're actually using the Malignant Heart off the Creeping Death, which allows us to do some really nutty bleed damage. Now, despite my ping, I can feel that the game is kind of lagging a little bit. So if my character is kind of like stopping in place and stuttering, that will be why. But the general gist of things are, oh, look at this. Is that we just use grab and Rupture to kill packs and stuff like that. Oh, this is an awkward place to have him. If I grab the enemies in and actually Rupture them on him for lots of damage. Dodged into that one. I'm using ground stomps in the hope that it might, you know, stagger him. But it's unlikely because he has such a high stagger bar. But this was kind of unfortunate timing. It came in right as I'm fighting one of these things here. Now I'm using, as you can see, steel skin, or iron skin, sorry. This one here. In order to give myself unstoppable, I do have aspect of the Iron Warrior, which makes this a very, very powerful all-round defensive. Oh, I didn't still grasp the one target I needed. GG. I won't really use any cooldowns here, just rend him down nice and easy. Now I am going to pick that up. That's a very good key. Dopamine tunnels, OP. There we go, stun. Lagging out a little bit here. Also got stunned afterwards. We use Rend, and we'll just blast him down with that Rupture buff. So like one of my favorite things to do is actually just to grab them in. You can Rupture and just mosey on your day, and they'll all die now. And you can kind of do that with most packs. If they're big enough, you can even get the elites down that way as well. We're out of steel grasps here at the moment. I'm rushing a little bit, so my HP is kind of a little bit all over the place. But even though this is hardcore, I should be alright. Got a Death Evasion Elixir up. No problemo. Oh yeah, that Rupture killed even those elites. So if you get a big enough pack with your steel grasp, even elites won't be able to survive just a single Rupture. I'm not going to bother with that, but grab them in. Rupture and they're dead. That's my priority target. There's another one. Just going to stun them for safety there. Rupture finishes off the pack, no problemo. Oh, are we on to the boss now? Fantastic. So now you'll see the single target DPS. Now, admittedly, this is not its strongest suit right now. It does better on longer fights, but when the fight's too short to get a stagger off, which you may see here, it's a little problematic because Creeping Death does all of its damage to staggered enemies, and this fight just won't go on long enough for me to stagger, or if it does, it'll be right at the end. but it's no slouch either. Now, if I get lucky with some of my procs, then I will actually stagger this boss around about half HP. We just didn't get lucky this time. So we'll go out now to Kyovashad and we'll quickly go through the build. So let's take a little look at this. And also, if you like the format of the way that I've done this one, let me know down in the comments below. Something I'm just experimenting with, the way that I deliver the builds. And it's really up to you guys whether you like them this way or the old way. So going into the build itself, some of the most notable things, it's going to have to be the use of uniques. Now, you may have seen I was using Penitent Greaves. I'm also using a Butcher's Cleaver. Now, these both apply a form of CC. And the reason I said I'm going for so much CC is because I'm using Raffle Heart of Creeping Death, which gives me 40% multiplicative bleed damage when I have a CC on an enemy. And that's for every CC type. So there's 3 here. I also have Aspect of Anemia, which has a chance to stun an enemy when I hit them with direct damage if they're bleeding. I also have the Devious Heart of Punishing Speed, which knocks down enemies if my attack speed is over a certain threshold, which it most certainly is with this build. Now, everything else that is pretty much standard, like bleed damage and defensive kind of stuff, that will be in the build guide that you can check out. Fields of Crimson as well, another unique that we're using here with so much emphasis on the Rupture. It's nice to have the extra cooldown reduction from the ranks to Rupture. Also, this weapon is feeling really, really powerful right now. The extra bleed damage, the fact it has crit on it. Also, I just happen to get a very high item power one. I've done some testing with this against a practically completely biz regular sword at like 780 item power, and this was definitely a bit above that. So feeling very, very good about using this. And then as far as the Paragon goes, it's a pretty unusual one, but there's a lot of stuff in here. It's just kind of in a weird order. We're using Exploit. This is a very powerful tool. Bleed scales very well with Vulnerable. Got Disembowel for cooldown reduction. We then have over here Blood Feeder. Up here we have Wrath. We're getting our Fortify from Warbinger exclusively, so make sure you go ahead and get that. Lots of extra damage over time stuff here. Damage reduction nodes all over the place. It's quite a tanky build. And then finally, I'm going into the Flawless Technique build, and we'll be getting these Havoc nodes here for some extra crit damage and getting Imbiber here, or maybe perhaps Might, but I think Imbiber is definitely the better choice there. Still going to experiment with this one, but as always, I will update the planner with the latest and best version of this build, so when you open that up, you'll always see the most relevant stuff in the right place. But that's the build. And yeah, I mean, you guys have been asking for it for quite a while. Sorry I took so long, but here it is. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a like. Consider subscribing if you think I like it. And come check out the live stream. Links all down in the description. Peace.